everyone. I've decided to put together a little stretch routine because if we are all sitting around a little bit more than usual, then it's good to keep those muscles nice and long so they do the job they're supposed to do. There are certain muscles that become habitually shortened when we sit down, so I'll be concentrating on those. So we're just going to start today with ensuring you don't overdo it, so never force a stretch. Never do a stretch when you're cold. Be nice and warm before you start, and never pull too hard, push too hard. It should be gentle and eased, and that's the best way to get the best out of our muscles. So we're just going to begin with a little bit of gentle movement through the arms. So you're just stretching down the side of the body and just opening up under the shoulder blades a little bit, getting those arms moving, go a little bit further each time. Just breathe out as you go, breathe in as you come back. And then think about that rotation in the spine, so just twist to one direction and back, twist to the other. And just keep that flow going. Keep the arms down so you don't fatigue the shoulders. Just a little bit of movement in the trunk there. Then place the hands down, slide the heels in a bit closer, gently open up and close. So you're just opening up in the hips a little bit. Soften the elbows maybe, pull the shoulders back so you feel stronger through the shoulder girdle whilst you're just opening up in the hips. And then just push the legs out one at a time. You might want to add an out breath there if you wish, in breath to return. So just warming up through the thighs, the calves, and getting everything just moving. Doesn't need to be very much for this. Lift yourself up a little taller and just roll your knees to one side, come back to centre. Roll the knees to the other side and back to centre. Just keep rolling again, just opening up around the waist, getting the spine moving a little bit like a move in Pilates, I know. And then just release that too. So then just slide round, come onto your back and just curl your way down. So you're curling down to the mat and reach up and over, circling your arms fully. And then relaxing them down beside you. Slide your heels in a little way, just a few pelvic tilts. Gently dipping and arching there. And then just relaxing where you are. So we'll start with an adductor stretch, which means you put the soles of those feet together and just going to gently part the knees, let them relax. If you struggle with this stretch, it's stretching your inner thighs, your adductors, just gently hold on the outside of the thigh. Or if you're quite comfortable with that, maybe place your hands above your head like this, so you just relax into what's called the butterfly pose. Just breathe. Doesn't matter how you breathe, just comfortable breathing. About now, you might feel those legs begin to open a little wider. That's as the muscles begin to do their thing, they're beginning to stretch open. You might want to hold it in this position and just stay there for a few more minutes and do nothing more than that. Or you might want to increase that stretch. So stay here if you don't wish to. Lift the heels if you do. Close in for a moment. Bring the hands onto the knees. Just circle the knees round.
So you're still opening up and doing what we call a dynamic stretch of the inner thighs. And this time, again, just let the legs hang open, gravity helping you this time. And then to increase that stretch further, just take the legs out wide and hold in that position. Let them just ease the way out. So if you've been holding the first level I showed you, then you've probably been there for a minute or so. So we're just going to open and hold this one for about another 20 seconds. Remember, there's always options. I'll always give you an easier version of each stretch. Should still feel those legs opening a little bit more each second that you hold them. They just get a bit easier. If it doesn't, then always go back to a lesser version of itself, this one, or of course this one. And then pull on your pelvic floor a moment, just to pull your knees back in and just stretch the body out nice and long. So that's your inner thigh stretch. Let's go for some outer thigh stretches. So bring the arms down beside you, bend your knees. I'm just going to start by crossing one leg over the other. So the outside of the ankle sits on top of the knee joint here. So if this is enough for you, stay here. Or you can add a little push into the knee joint here. Or if you want more stretch in the glutes, lift that leg up, thread one hand between the legs and one round the outside of the thigh and ease that in towards your chest. Let that stretch occur. If you're quite mobile in the hips, you might find you need to do this before you really feel the stretch. There's no need to hold a neutral like you would in Pilates. It's all about stretching muscles. And then this muscles group doesn't need to be stretched as much as the inner thighs usually. So uncross, then cross the other ankle over. So here's level 1. Level 2, you apply a little pressure here. Level 3, lift up the leg like so. And as you know, level 4 is to hold it here. So choose the one that is right for you, that doesn't create any pain and doesn't cause your legs to shake in any way. And just try and relax around that outer thigh. Let go as much as you can, apart from your hands, of course, holding the other leg in the air. Gently come down from there, so going down through the levels again, and uncross. So this time you're going to cross the legs over in a more ladylike fashion. You can cross like this, or you can even wrap the leg right round the calf again. Place the hands out wide and roll. Roll so that you feel the stretch in that top side of your thigh, and you're trying to keep your shoulders square and onto the mat. So a slightly more advanced stretch there. You may find that's a little bit too much, then don't wrap the legs round quite so far. Breathe into that stretch. I'm hoping you'll be feeling it from here in your back and round. Take a breath gently pull those legs back upright, uncross, just shake the legs a moment, cross the other leg over and wrap it round if you can, if not just wrap it once, and then roll to the opposite side. And again, you're just gently trying to lower the knees towards the floor, keeping your shoulders on the mat. Breathe into that stretch. You might find you feel a bit tighter on one side. Certainly I'm tighter on this side. Breathe, try and relax a little bit more. See if those legs will go any further. Take a breath in and then pull yourself back to that start position and just bring the arms down, unwrap. Now hug the knees in and that will just make your spine feel a bit more comfortable. Maybe rock here a few times. Okay. And then we're going to do a hamstring stretch, another one of those muscle groups that becomes habitually shortened with sitting. So you can either just literally lift the leg, hold behind the thigh and lengthen into the air, so hold it like this, or if you cannot get your knee to straighten or your legs out here somewhere and you can't reach, then I've just got hold of my partner's belt. He never wears it, but lift it up round the bottom of the foot and that will help you to ease that leg without you having to grab at it and lift your head or hurt the shoulders in the process. So there's one way of achieving a slightly more effective stretch if you are struggling with the hamstring flexibility there. So you hold this at a given length, with band or without, and hold it for about as long as we have been, and then you take a breath in and then ease it a bit further, and this is called developmental. It takes it a bit further, and you try to hold it without, if looking at your toes, finding them shaking, and if they are, you must ease off, because that's a reflex that your body's trying to protect you basically, so don't ever force that stretch. And then finally you can stretch the other leg along the floor, and that would give you the most advanced stretch. So you have choice here, but the key is that the leg here needs to be as straight as you can get it, because the hamstrings attach to your pelvis and over your knee. So if you bend the knee, you're not getting a hamstring stretch, okay? And then just release it. I'm going to do the other leg now, and I'm not going to use the band, but if you need the band, then please do use a band. Say a band or a belt or even a tie, anything like that. Draw that other knee in, lengthen it up towards the ceiling, and see how straight you can get it. So hold behind the thighs first, unless you're using something around the foot. Ease it into wherever that tension is found. In other words, not too much, but you want to keep your bottom on the floor and just ease it there, holding it for around about 20 seconds, allowing the muscle to relax. And then take your hands up to the calf. If you're using your hands, ease it a little bit further in like we did before. Again, you need a breath in and breathe out to do that, to make it as relaxed as possible. And then we're going to straighten the other leg along the floor if it's comfortable for you to do that. And if it isn't, bend the knee again, so you don't put any pressure into the low back. And then just release it, bend the knee on the floor, bend that leg down, back to the floor. May want to do another full body stretch there. Take a breath in and then up you come. That may be like that, or it might be you roll on your side to get yourself there more safely for you. Then we're going to come down onto our front and rest your head, and you're going to take the same arm behind you to collect that foot. Again, if you struggle with that, then get your tie, your belt, your band and ease in this way and hold it like this. What you don't want to do is pull. You want to push the hips to the floor. Here, push down there and then ease the leg in. I'm just going to release that and hold it. And this is another muscle group, the quads. They don't need stretching for as long as our hamstrings. So maybe 15 seconds. Just try and let them go. Just try and let go of the muscles like you do in Pilates. And you'll find you get a little bit further with your heel coming closer to your bottom. Going to release that leg now. And then the other one, so I'll still look at the camera, but I'm doing exactly the same on the other side. You will want to probably rest your head on your hands, ease the leg in, still pushing the hip to the mat to get more of a stretch rather than pulling on the foot. Try and let go. Let go in the front of the thigh, let go in the opposite buttock. Now just let you take that muscle group a little bit. Just lengthens it a little bit more easily. And then release it. And bring the hands by the shoulders. Carefully push yourself up. We've got one more stretch to do here. That involves you bringing one leg forward and the other stays back. And you're just trying to drop the back hip and make sure the knees here are behind your toes. So you don't want to be like that. So it's about kneeling up, coming forward, pushing the hips forward. So you get the stretch into the hip flexors here. And not everybody finds this one very comfortable, so you may not want to do this one. But you're either up here because you can balance, or come down if the balance is a little difficult, or both arms on one side if it helps you to get into the right position. And just let that go, ha. Try and let it go in the hip. And then when you've finished it, dig through that front heel to push your weight back. Sweep the leg round, move over to the other side. So it's like taking a giant step. Get balanced and push forward. So that balance may be up here, which will give you the better stretch, to be honest, because it will stretch your hip flexors a bit more. That one, which is a little bit easier, and that one will give you the balance that you might need. So push that hip into the mat. heel, push back, sweep round, and just go back into a child pose for a moment if you're comfortable to do that. And then up you come. So what I've given you there is a series of lower body stretches, all the ones around the hip. So I'll come back and give you some upper body stretches in another little sequence so that I'm not keeping you too long. They're just little bite-sized things to do at home. We also, today, we didn't stretch the calf muscles, but on your way up to standing, you could do that by going back into that down dog if you want to, and just pedaling your feet. And then from there, once you've done that, you lift up onto both sets of toes, push both heels down, push your chest towards your front of thighs, and from here, it's quite a nice way of getting yourself up to standing. So from there, you can hold this as long as you like, but thereafter, walk your feet forwards, and I'm going to disappear, or half of me is now, and then up you come in your own way. Thank you very much.